my brother and I have had such a good fun interacting over the internet for the last few months that I really just kind of wanted to, again, sort of push it a little bit, because it's great fun and it's a little bit different from just sitting by yourself and doing your own thing. Excuse me. So what I thought I would do, and stop me if it's all wrong, but what I thought I might do is just take everyone through Jamtaba, which is the bit of cleverness that we've been using to kind of sync our two studios. Talk a little bit about our two studios and what we have and how it's worked for us. And then I have this kind of idea for a collaborative thing, maybe at the next meet, if we can get some interest and people doing it, which I call a sound collage, and more about that later. So I'm going to be utterly crazy and try and share my screen and things with everyone. I'm not used to using Zoom at all, so apologies if things go wrong, but I will try.
While you're setting up there, Jeremy, it looks like we've got a couple of new faces down the bottom, or names at least new to me.
Oh, indeed.
Kenny and Bob, welcome, welcome.
Silent Bob.
Well, welcome to the Modular Cafe anyway. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you want to chuck stuff in the chat, that's super cool, and we can answer any questions you may have about MODCAF in general, what we normally do on these sort of monthly things. But we're very fortunate to have Brothers Newton with us, because the whole jamming over the internet thing just straight over my head. So I'm looking forward to absorbing their collective power.
Right, I think I've just done that wrong, so I will try again. Share sound, yes, and stereo, high fidelity, and share. Right, you should all get some kind of nice picture of the mountains or something like that.
Indeed.
Good. Right, there Jamtaba, which is what we've used for syncing our two studios together, comes in two different versions. There is a standalone version, and there's a plug-in version. And if we start, this is the standalone, and you basically, we can see this is the screen that it comes up with. These are various sessions that are going on around the world at the moment, using Jamtaba, and you can actually listen into these if you want to. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and you can kind of basically go and enter. And a lot of them seem to be quite guitar based. There's a lot of kind of guitar based jamming basically going on. So most important things, going to the audio setup. I've set the input and output is my Studio Live mixer. For this, I will be using the Zoom. So hopefully it will mean that you will hear what I'm doing as well as speaking. You have opportunity to change buffer size and sample rate and the usual sorts of things. MIDI, you get a big long list of things that it connects with. Same again with syncing to things. So you can choose what it is that you want it to sync to within your studio. You can also, it will see your various plugins. We haven't used that, so I don't know very much about that. Multi-track recording, I think, is basically when you set up a server, you can then save all of the multi-track recording of what goes on in your session through that. Metronome and loop are the other two bits there. So we have that as the kind of the basic setup. Oops, if I just make sure that I did that correctly. Which I did not. yes, it did save. Good. So you can set the language, you can set various themes, and the important bit for connecting with others is you can either connect with a private server, which I will do in a minute, but you can also host a private server in your machine. So if we go to do that, it basically comes up with a little window. You can go start. Do you want to do this? Yeah, okay, I'll allow that. And so basically I've now started my own little server, and you can go, there it is. And you should all be hopefully hearing the click for that server. And so with that, with a bit of luck, some of these might be working. But they might,
Yep.
Yeah. Sync isn't sounding brilliant. And it should be working okay. The standalone is a little bit clunky, should I say, with regard to start-stop and MIDI start-stop. Using a DAW helps that considerably, but it does work. If we can just, oops, come on, talk to me. It's not going too good. This was working earlier, of course. So, sorry, somebody wants to...
Yeah, I was going to say, do you need, what's the MIDI sync option down by your little...
This little chap. I'm not quite sure what that does, actually, David. Not quite there. Okay, I think I've done everything that should have happened. So anyway, that's the standalone version. When I did that earlier,
happening to Simon the other week when we tried to do this, exactly the problem Simon was having, because he basically refuses to use a DAW. So he was trying to use the standalone, and it just wasn't working for him.
Yeah.
In the same way.
I wonder if no, it should. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, that's the standalone for those who are DAWless. And if I start and stop again, it might work. Let's just try it one more time. Yes, let's do that. Still the same. I mean, keyboards are showing the right BPM, but oh, actually, no, they're not.
I was going to say that box has suddenly unticked itself, the MIDI sync box.
Yes, that's interesting. They're not actually showing the right BPM, so there's some talking that hasn't worked. How about you? You're not going to do anything. Bear with me again. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Apologies, that's not worked very well. So I will stop that and dive out. In my studio here, I basically only have kind of keyboards hardware. I don't have any modular, and so have been basically syncing through a DAW into my various keyboards with varying success, I have to say. Not to do with Jamtaba, but to do with the individual keyboards. Sometimes I've had to kind of play around with one of the with the Pro 2 up here to get that to sync better. and I'm now getting it so that, and interestingly, I'm using an audio out from the drum brute into the Pro 2 to trigger the sequencer, which is a better way of starting sequences on the fly than trying to rely on pressing the button at the right time, which is the only way that it does it. So the drum brute syncs in very well to the DAW. This guy doesn't sync in quite so well. Anyway, if I get rid of that, just to show that is possible. It may be that our best way is to do it through a DAW. My preferred, I have tried it with Reaper, but my preferred DAW is Logic, and recently I've moved from Reaper into Logic, and it seems to have been more stable. So basically how you bring it in is on your master track. You can bring the Jamtaba in stereo in on that, and you will see that we end up with a very similar screen there for Jamtaba. Now, let me just set my preferences again to make sure that I have, that's correct, output device. I want to be the Zoom audio. So input that, output that. Again, going to connect with a private server in this case, which would basically be how we would set it up if we were going to collaborate with anyone. Is go through a private server, and you get it memorizes the IP addresses that you previously had. We were on earlier today, so it's come up with the IP address of Adrian down in Wimborne. And so if we do that, you will note that it's now preparing. So we now have, you can hopefully hear something coming from Adrian's studio. There's the metronome at my end. So that's all working from that position. I can now sync, or attempt to sync with Logic 10. And it says, hold on, you need to set the BPM and try again, which is fair enough. So it's fair to say that the BPM is set by the people that are hosting. So the host server, that they have control entirely over the BPM, and everyone else has to slave into that. So now that I've changed that, hopefully it will now let me do that. The little rotter is not playing ball.
Did you start Logic, Jim?
Yeah, I'm going to restart it. Sorry.
Did you actually press play though?
No, it's Okay, I will try. Thank you, Aid. So hopefully that now sits in. Try an alternative. So it's working in sync. Hopefully you're hearing. This is not playing ball. Yeah. So all syncing quite nicely. As you wish. That's with arpeggios. Can also work with sequencers in a similar way. And you can basically, I mean, if you hear my, there's a drum machine. This was really testing it. Okay, I'm going to try syncing again. I don't like the fact that it's saying that once I've set that, no, it's not playing. So if you bear with me a second, I'm going to just dive out again and come back in again. So if I Jamtaba gone? There he is. Right. So if I now go into Logic, is that going to be okay? Yes, it saved it. Good. Thank you for that. Same again. Come in again, and it will prepare again. So it may be that the, if this works, it will be sensible for anyone kind of joining in with a collaborative thing to have set their DAW tempo beforehand, just waiting for it to, basically what, as I understand what Jamtaba does is it uses the loop of beats, which we've set to 32, to deal with the inherent latency between with audio traveling between the two places. So basically my audio comes through to the server 32 beats after, or a little bit less than 32 beats after I have played it. So if I was to listen to what was actually happening in Wimborne at the moment, and I played something, then it would be all really crazy. But because I'm just listening to the Ninjam server, it's done all of that correcting, and basically means that, with luck, our two audios will be synchronized. So I'm now in a position to be able to sync it with Logic, and it says, okay, play start. So you go, all right, I'll play start. And you're hearing that, you're woo! So we've now got Adrian and me. It's not quite as syncing as it should be, but anyway. If I get rid of him for a little while. So it's working. It may not be absolutely slap bang on. Yeah. And I'm hoping you're hearing all of this as well as hearing me. So it does sync. It syncs quite well. Just looking through at Adie's, I can pin that, I think, so that everyone can see that. And if you click on that, I understand that it will enlarge. So that's Adie's setup in his studio for this. Sync wise, he's basically taking a MIDI clock from the key step out into through a Pamela's new workout into a Strymon Magneto, sending the clock out into the Strymon Magneto, using it as a kind of tape delay effect to synchronize his modular into it. For these sessions that we've been doing recently, he's been using hardware as the main kind of synthesizer sounds. And I think this is an SEO2 or something like that. But obviously there is then the capability to clock using the Pamela's new workout through into the modular, and that all works very nicely as well. So we were kind of bashing ideas around as to oh, that's Arthur as well. Hello, Arthur, who is the kind of brains behind all of our technical stuff. So he should be talking about this really, but he's not. Yeah, the idea that we kind of bashed around a bit, if there is interest, was for us to basically act as the, oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Host it.
Host, that's the word, thank you very much. Yeah, for us to host a kind of get-together online, whereby if there were kind of, I don't know, 5, 6 people who just brought a sound or a patch or something like that in, or a drum machine or whatever it is that you want to do, that we would basically host the server. And everyone could then kind of play together and us create, as I term it, a kind of sound collage. And obviously we wouldn't know what everyone is going to come up with. And that's all part of the fun of it, because we could then, as people play their sounds into the kind of into the collage, we can all listen and change those sounds as we go through time. So I don't know if it, for example, there was 15 minutes worth, it might start off with something on the host server. I might then perhaps add in a sequence, or I could add in just a sound, something interesting. Where's it gone?
It's probably because you stopped screen sharing.
Have I?
No, I unshared you while you were talking.
Oh, right, thank you. That's all right then.
I just thought it was
very sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, if I share again, share sound. desktop share. Okay, sorry you get to see this rather than my beautiful self. I'm presuming this should still be working. So yeah, somebody might come along with a held cord that they, over time, might kind of go, well, actually, because of what's happening somewhere else, maybe actually what I want to do is just high-pass filter that. And over time, just kind of, oh, actually, no, let's have a bit more bass coming back in again, or something. So somebody could be doing that, and as they do that, then other people can respond also to that. And I don't know whether this is going to work, but we'll try. Yeah, okay. So somebody may be coming in with a kind of fairly chilled sort of thing. And they may want to change, you know, the other guy may want to change what he's doing, and just to give it a bit of space, or maybe not, and this person might twiddle this a bit, and that might all happen quite nicely. And someone else might come in with that. Oh, that's exciting. I wonder what's going to happen next. And so we could actually all have this kind of rather fun exploratory time with what's coming in and different people doing different things. And then sort of this goes. So people are all controlling their own single set. So these are all representing kind of different people. And maybe we even have some of him in as well, why not? And so we've got and so it would kind of create this thing. Maybe it will end up being a piece of music, maybe it's just a sound collage, as I kind of term it. And somebody comes in. I think that might be Arthur. So rhythmically, I'm sure we can get it better, and we will work at that. Let's kill him. And so the idea being that we can basically create our own improvisation, really, and just have a bit of fun together and see where it takes us. That's the kind of the idea. And I think I've done all of my audio sharing, so Graham, if you want to cut me back again to normal, rather than the screen share. Shoo.
Super cool idea.
we can iron out some of the bits that go wrong, I'm sure, particularly with Arthur's help. But yeah, that's the kind of the idea. Maybe I don't know whether it's worth. What do people think about it? Ian, you've kind of offered that it's a super cool idea. Gauging the floor from everyone else, is it sort of something that people might like to do?
Well, I'm totally ready to turn it into a droning hellscape. Ian, are you in?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's fire it up. Come on.
I'm sure other people can make something much prettier than we can muster up.
Oh, there's three now.
There's 3 lyras at least, yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Ben Francis has one as well, so we're going to have a 4 lyra noise fest.
Fantastic.
I'm guessing the sync wouldn't matter too much then.
Exactly. So it cuts out one problem.
Nothing would matter too much. It would be the end of the universe. That would be it.
Maybe just the 4 of you, a Laura Lara.
You could have a Laura Lara, yeah.
Laura Lara.
But other folk, maybe non-lyra, people kind of interested as well, like in terms of
definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Because it could be just like a massive droning thing that keeps evolving, and that could be amazing.
Absolutely, that's the kind of, you're getting into the vibe here, Graham. That's really good. So I mean, I didn't want to prescribe what it should be at all, but if people kind of want to either generate sounds beforehand, have a work on patches and kind of all that sort of thing, and come along with it and be ready to tweak and listen and tweak more and respond to what's going on.
I guess my only thing would be that it would have to be, you would each have to do a sound that wasn't too detailed, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so that if all the sounds come together, there's each one person's got a unique sound, but not too many oscillators, etc. So it's quite thin, because when it comes together, it creates the thickness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, good thought.
And in terms of working with, say, 4 folk in different locations, how does that actually work practically with I mean, you mentioned the idea of like you guys hosting it.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that process.
A little bit similar to this Zoom chat in a way, that basically everyone will go through and using either the freestanding Jamtaba or the plugin, basically link into our server. And then basically that server, so long as we all just listen to what that server is doing, so we don't listen on Zoom, we kind of listen through our sound cards, etc., to what that server is kicking out, then we can all play along and we will all hear everything.
Can we still have sort of a Zoom thing going at the same time for orchestration purposes?
I think we can, yes.
You can. I did it with Simon while we were trying to set up the other day. Although we use WhatsApp, but it's the same principle.
Yes. Yeah. But it's just that when listening, you can get some pretty horrid delays and things if you are.
You really do. It's quite funny, in fact, because you sometimes get like some other sound back through whatever Zoom or WhatsApp, and it's you hear the delay, like in real time. It's quite funny.
Use something like Discord just for a text-based thing, then, just so we can.
I mean, the
it's not that bad.
Is have Zoom running on a phone with just a single earpiece or something like that, and then
you can. There is actually, I forgot to point out, but there is a chat in Jamtaba as well. Actually, there's
have you got the voice channel working? I could never get the voice channel to work.
Yeah, we have worked with the voice channel.
Okay.
I did that when I was
with
using.
the door.
I did it with Reaper, but not with Logic because of the routing needed in Logic just doesn't allow you, but Reaper does.
Okay.
What about using devices that don't have MIDI or can take MIDI clock?
That should be fine, actually. Yeah.
So as long as you go through the door plugin, I suppose, because that's what's syncing to the server.
Correct. Yes. It doesn't matter if you're not syncing. You can basically be doing drone. You can be layering or whatever you want to.
Style drums.
Or modular. Just kind of having some interesting things going on.
So just to check that I've got this right, in terms of what you as an individual here, you're actually hearing what you're doing in real time, but you're hearing everybody else delayed by one cycle.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I get that.
I'm glad you do, because it took everyone else. Well, certainly me and Simon.
Yeah,
was
so
like,
if you're watching somebody's video, the video would be out of sync with the sound, because you'd be actually watching the video from now, relatively.
Correct.
Be from a whole cycle ago. Yeah.
Correct.
Don't do what we did and start by having a conversation via a video like WhatsApp link, and then try and work out what's going on, because your minds just melt. If you start with the sound, it's okay. If you start with the real time, it makes no sense at all, and you can't get back from it. It's like Simon just got stuck in a loop where he couldn't get his head around what's going on, and we just hung up in the end.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
It's definitely start with the sound.
Yeah.
Would be my only advice.
Cool.
No, do not use in combination with any kind of mind-altering substances.
Well, up to you if you wish.
But, you might end up doing your head in.